Welcome to Personal Mastery Training. I'm your host, Alvin Brown, former world class athlete turned entrepreneur and consultant. Join us as we learn from guests who have conquered their inner battles and share their journeys to success. Get ready for inspirational masterclasses and thought provoking strategy sessions to fuel your path to personal mastery. Let's dive in. Okay, so in today's strategy episode, everybody, I want to dive into this conversation, a very important conversation on shaking things up and how this can help you to get to mastery. We're going to call this one Do It Different. So here's the thing. Our brain is truly remarkable. It's an adaptable organ. Our brain possesses an inherent love for both novelty as well as habituation. And this is all based on efficiency, the brain being efficient and the brain leading us to find food and to survive. The brain is also a very predictive brain, meaning that it knows things before you even know it on a conscious level. I've always found it funny when people come into me, my new patients come into me, I do a muscle testing on them, apply kinesiology, and I test their nervous system. The funny thing is, when I test the strong side, they're at ease. Their face is at ease. They're very cocky. They're very sitting. They sit there and they no fuss, no muss. Look how strong I am. Everybody loves that challenge to see how strong they are. But when I test this side that's inhibited, that's not working, before I even get to the side that's inhibited, I notice that they secure themselves. They start to grab the table. They start to do little movements to secure themselves because they unconsciously know they're going to fail on the test. So the brain's very predictive. Our brain, the neuroscience shows our brain loves things novel. And it's quite fascinating, actually. Whenever we encounter something new, surprising, or unexpected, our brain responds by releasing dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and the anticipation of future reward. This rush of dopamine enhances our attention, motivates us to seek out more novel experiences. No different than we've all heard of the cocaine, the drug, or a drug that you've had the first time, or the cigarette, or whatever it might be, a novel experience, and we start to experience it more often, it's not novel anymore. The body habituates. So we need to seek out more of it. And dopamine is what pushes us to find the stimuli and top the next time that you experience it. Essentially, our brain is wired to be curious and rewards us for embracing new things. On the other hand, our brains have a strong inclination towards habituation for efficiency. Once we have become proficient at something, we notice that it goes down to automation, conserving energy and conserving cognitive bandwidth, basically. The habituation allows us to perform tasks with less conscious effort, enables us to focus on important things in our lives. Remember the first time when you started learning how to drive? How much bandwidth did that take up? A ton of bandwidth. The blinker, the rear view mirror, the side mirror, everybody on the street, the gas, the brake, all of that. And now you drive home, they put up a building around you and you don't even notice it. You're completely automation. Or anyone who lives near a train track or anything. I remember the first time in my office, I faced the traffic, and everyone new would come in. How do you handle that traffic? Well, after a couple of weeks, I don't even notice the traffic. It's super quiet to me. So my body habituated. So, how do we strike the right balance between novelty and habituation in order to get to mastery? How can we incorporate new experiences and ideas while relying on our established skills and routines to take us through? Because I'm a big one, I believe in consistency. The key lies in finding ways to introduce novelty within our existing framework. That's the key. For instance, if you're working on mastering a specific skill or discipline, consider exploring different techniques, perspective, or methodologies within that area. By experimenting with new variables or approaches, you can challenge your brain to think creatively and make new connections. This keeps your brain engaged, promotes adaptive thinking, enhances your ability to perform and problem solve effectively. Furthermore, focusing on continuous growth and improvement requires us to step out of our comfort zone. Embracing new challenges and taking calculated risks can provide the necessary stimulus for our brains to adapt and learn at an accelerated rate. By intentionally seeking out diverse experiences, new, novel experiences, and environments, we expose ourselves to fresh perspective, ideas, and ways of thinking, which ultimately contribute to our mastery. Think about my tribe: personal trainers, bodybuilders, fitness athletes. Due to the repetitive nature of the sport that they do, or someone working out, they must be mindful because every year they have to top the year before. They have to beat themselves. It's not about the opponent primarily. Yes, there is someone ahead of you who's a champ. However, it's about beating yourself. It's a very personal game. The minute they become complacent, their body habituates to the workouts. They need to stimulate themselves. They need to, it's almost like when you've been doing a certain sport for a while and you change to a new sport. You go from golf to tennis or you do some other different activity and you thought you're in shape. Well, you do that new sport and all of a sudden it hurts to do it. It's novel, but you do that a little while and your body habituates in no time. So this is why some people hit a plateau when they start working out or they've been doing the same workout. They've been riding. Say they take up riding and they've been riding the whole summer. The first time they do it, they're dying. They can't even sit down on the seat. Then by the end of the summer, nothing. And now you have to be careful that you don't habituate and see no gains and see no changes. Remember, incorporating new and novelty doesn't mean dismissing what we already mastered. It's not about changing all the time. It's about integrating new elements into our existing knowledge and skills, pushing the boundaries of our comfort zone while leveraging the efficiency of our established expertise. This enables us to maintain a balance between novelty and habituation and ensures our ongoing growth and development. Now, I want to leave you with a practical exercise to implement right away. Take a moment, reflect on your current practice or routine. If you're my bodybuilding audience, my personal trainers, this goes for your clients. I recently heard about one of my clients said she left her trainer because this person didn't change their routine and they were noticing no change in their bodies. So this is super important for you. So here's the exercise. Identify one area where you can introduce novelty or challenge yourself to think differently. It can be as simple as exploring a new resource, attending a workshop or seminar, seeking out a mentor or coach, incorporating a different workout. Some small change, you open up the pathways to growth and mastery. So, what is it when you think about all the things you do? What is it that you can do to stimulate, to jog, to get yourself going in order to stimulate the pathways of growth and change? Remember, personal mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. So, in order to master a skill, I love the quote by Bruce Lee. I don't fear the fighter, the opponent, who does one kick or 1,000 kicks once. What he fears is a person who does one kick 1,000 times. But in that kick, can you add a little bit of something different to make it more efficient, to make it you can hide the kick, is what I'm getting at. So, challenge yourself, step out of your comfort zone, and make consistent efforts to grow and evolve. Because remember, you're fighting habituation. You're fighting the body's need to be efficient and to put things in the comfort zone. And this is where you won't experience growth. And this is something anyone who's interested in mastery wants to achieve. So do it different. How can you do it different? And this also applies, let's expand a little bit. One of the things I brought up in the group was this applies to your relationship. Many times relationship goes into habituation. You come home, you do the same thing, same routine over and over, and eventually over decades you get stale. Some people go stale. Most people go stale when they're just doing the same thing and expecting the person to operate it the same way and they don't want change. However, what if we do it a little different? Keep the majority of the routine because it might work. You love getting home and having dinner with your partner and so on and so on. But what if you jazz it up? One day you come home with flowers. One day you come home and you surprise, hey, don't cook dinner, I got it. Something different. This is where you get that dopamine. What's going to happen now? I remember when my kids were young, there's so many things my wife and I did where we surprised them. And we jump on a plane. We drive to New York, Manhattan. They didn't know we are going on vacation in Cuba. There's so many things we did to enhance that. To They don't know what's happening next. So that made it really exciting for them. So think about that concept. Do it different. What can you do to your current routine to not get stuck, to evolve, to grow, to master? How can you incorporate the neuroscience of dopamine to get you to wake up the brain so the brain can learn, so the brain can grow and enhance your nervous system? How can you incorporate a different routine in your bodybuilding workout? Have you ever, sometimes I used to tell my bodybuilders to try Pilates, incorporate Pilates. It incorporates different muscles and it helps them to get their core strong. So think about that. Think different. So that's your podcast. That's your strategy episode for this week. If you know someone who could use this information, who could benefit from thinking different, I'd love you to like, subscribe, share this information with them. And maybe then they can elevate their game from where they are now into the mastery level like you are. All right, my people, hope you enjoy this episode. And in your life, make it exciting. Do it a little different. All right, until next time, I'm out. Peace.